Hello and welcome to the Frankfurt Motor Show 2015. We are at the VW Group evening, and as you can see it's rather busy down here, but one of the stars of the show is this. It's the Bugatti Vision Gran Turismo concept. Now, as the name suggests, it was designed for the Gran Turismo PlayStation game, and that got me thinking that, to be honest, it was all just pie in the sky. Until I had a chat with one of the designers. I'm going to have a chat to you through this car because it is absolutely extraordinary, all the aero and the basis, and I think once you understand that, it's a very, very cool thing. The basic architecture of the car is based around the quad-turbo W16 engine. Here, obviously, right in the centre of the car with a gearbox in front. That automatically pushes the seats very far apart. The car is designed, well, it's a tribute really to the 1937 Le Mans win with the tank car, which has obviously looked at aerodynamics long before a lot of other people were thinking about that sort of thing. The colours hark back to that, this wonderful sort of dark blue, light blue, and then some of the lines on the car work with that too. The line straight over the top and then the line here in the side, this big horseshoe, all sort of, they evoke typical Bugatti design features, but the technology, I think, is what's really interesting, and the way they've integrated those into making this car extremely fast. If we look around the front of the car, we've got the horseshoe grille, which is obviously the area of highest pressure, feeding straight into the radiators. We've got dive planes at the front here as well, and also notice the headlights, which are just completely exposed. The air can flow straight through those, so we'll come back to that in a minute. The idea, as I said, is that this car runs at Le Mans. That's what it's designed for. So they reckon they can hit over 400 kilometers an hour 4 times around the lap. So between the chicanes on the Mulsanne Straight and then down to Indianapolis as well. In order to get to that sort of speed, I mean, you've got a huge amount of grip. You need to stall the rear wing. But when you do that, obviously you've got to somehow do something about the downforce at the front as well. So there are vents under there that then open just to balance the pressure front and rear. The other thing is you've got huge side plates at the back. That's to keep the car stable at such high speeds. If you're going to be doing over 400 kilometers an hour 4 times a lap, the brakes are obviously going to get a huge workout. So, as I mentioned before, the light's there, air flowing straight through there to try and cool the brakes. The trouble is if you do that, then you create a huge amount of pressure potentially in the wheel arch. So down the side here, they really cut away the front arches to vent all that air out of the back. Around the back of the car, we've got lots of very cool things going on. Obviously, there's this really wide, thin rear light, which just looks amazing. And you've got the exhausts. There's no number plate on this car, obviously, because it's not designed for the road. But they can be mounted up here, out of the way of the diffuser, which creates a huge amount of downforce just on its own. It runs all the way underneath the engine. Talking the engine, it's obviously very open at the back here. So the air comes here, it helps attach to there, therefore creating downforce on the underside of the rear wing. But then also kicks up here, and that helps to drag all the air out of the engine, helping to cool it. The exhaust, by the way, titanium with powder coating on the inside, which is very, very cool. All the other metal bits you can see are aluminium, as you expect from Bugatti. Frustratingly, Bugatti isn't really giving out any details. Every time I ask for power or another sort of figure, they just said, oh, I'm sorry, we can't really say that. So all we really do know is 2 tons of downforce and that top speed figure. It's worth spending a minute just looking at the wheels and tyres on their own. They're beautiful for a start. Centre locks. You've got a carbon rim, 22-inch on the front, 21-inch on the rear. Huge. The tyres as well, they're specially made slicks. They had to do a lot of persuading for Michelin to make these because they're not made anywhere else. So 380mm on the rear, 280mm on the front, on the slick, just so it can put all the power down. You might be wondering, it's a carbon rim and then an aluminium magnesium alloy for the spokes. Why is that? Well, because the car, as I mentioned before, is stopping 4 times a lap around Le Mans from over 400 kilometers an hour, it needs to dissipate the heat from the carbon brakes. Now, if you have carbon spokes, it can't do that. If you've got an aluminium hub, it can dissipate the heat through that into the spokes, and then obviously the air going past that cools the spokes. They've managed to make them, they say, as light as it would be if it was carbon spokes. And yeah, they look extremely cool. It's worth mentioning as well, they're running 3 degrees of camber on the front and rear, just to give it absolute precision. There are so many other details on this car. I could go on and on. You've got the cameras here, 3 cameras that merge into one picture so you can see what's going on behind because it's so important during a sort of a lap or somewhere like the Mall. Not that I can see many cars catching this. The little red details, all safety features, because if there's an accident, then you need to be able to know where to get the doors open, fire extinguishers, all that sort of thing. There's a panel at the top. If you need to get the driver's helmet off, if you had a back injury or something like that, that panel comes off. All these things are being thought about. Side impact as well. There's something about the fastidiousness of Bugatti that we've seen in the Veyron that is then being put into this concept. It's something you just don't generally see in concepts, this level of detail, I suppose, and it is absolutely amazing to look at. The Veyron has always been quite a sort of demure design, I suppose, and it's like it suddenly reached its teenage years and just morphed into this and gone utterly wild. But I love the fact that for all the fact it was designed for a computer game, there is real engineering know-how behind it all. So let us know what you think of Bugatti's concept. Leave your comments on the box below, but also on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, and we'll try and answer them before the end of the show. Brilliant, crazy, should they build it? What should this sort of say for the next generation of Veyron, the Chiron? Let us know.